Evening. All right, here we go. Warden Pyrex here. Now, what we're going to do now is enough of the tutorial nonsense. We're now actually building our own prison. Now, to be honest, there's a number of kind of obvious things you have to do here. First off is obviously we're building a guardhouse, as you can see, but really the first thing I kind of decided to do was to actually plan it all out before I build anything. So you actually have the ability to click the planning button and just maybe plan the thing. You can also pause time and do this as well, so you see nothing's happening right now. It's really just about building the basics. Now, to be honest, a prison, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but a prison should only really have one entrance and exit, to be honest with you. Just one way in and out. And you probably need to build multiple doors, almost like an airlock, but otherwise prisoners will see the gates open and make a run for it. Seriously, they do. It's hilarious. And really, I think what I've tried to do here is to build maybe the utilities outside of the walls as well. So hopefully that's clear. Again, it's really, I think, one of these things that, you know, it takes a few goes to really try and understand maybe the easiest way to do this. And I thought, well, the obvious thing to do is to build, you know, a wall. Obvious one, really, and basically put the cell blocks on either side. So as you come in here, you then have basically a small cell. Now the cells only need to be, I think, around 2 by 3. You can make them bigger if you give a shit about your prisoners. I don't. They're hardened criminals, muggers, rapists, sex offenders, and politicians. So naturally, they need to be punished. And really, I think, you know, the purpose of the various buildings that you have to build, and as you can see, there's a little bit of trial and error. Actually, I'm trying to figure out kind of an easy way to make everything fit. But again, this is why the planning tool is so nice. I mean, probably most building games need something like this because it does make a very nice addition. So I decided for a 2 block width corridor, and then obviously my cells on either side. And I think that probably gives me maybe, I think, 19 cells. I'd have to count them, but with 1 walkway in. And there we go. So now I can just quickly start the building to be built. Now, in terms of the guard towers, I'm probably going to cut doors into them, as you see there. And also, it's just useful to have these guard towers, just generally because you can use them also as solitary confinement. So when somebody shanks, your precious warden or your one of your screws, basically you can just throw them into solitary and forget about them for a while. Now, again, the key thing is that everything has to be encompassed within a great big effing wall. And I think that's probably the first thing probably to do. It's expensive to build a great big wall, but it's probably something that you should do. Everything in, I guess, every management game has I guess you call it a vertical flow. So prisoners obviously need somewhere to live. They need somewhere to shower. They need then to obviously go and eat. As prisoners are brought in, you need then holding cells. You can process them. You need kitchens. You need a medical center. You need offices for your warden. And basically, it starts to add up into quite a significant amount of effort. But again, it's very clear. It's not too bad. Seriously, I think it's something that isn't terrible. So here we go. We've actually now got to the point where our basic buildings are ready to go. So I've just sped up time now, and here you can see my fantastic high-vis jacketed little workmen now go to work. Now I'm running this about 200% speed, just because so it's probably about 3 or so 100% total, just so it's a bit easier to watch. And as you can see, they're pretty much building stuff nice and quick. Now again, just a word of thing, I love the fact that they deliver stuff. Many moons ago I used to work as a project manager, and I always used to love this. I always thought there was never enough building games. I've mentioned Sim Tower. I saw in the comments that somebody's mentioned a modern day equivalent of it. I am absolutely going to check that out once I can find a copy. But I always loved these building games. I think it was because as a kid I played with a huge amount of Lego, so I think that must be where I got this impulse to build things from. I always used to love building stuff and then basically throwing it downstairs, and I think this is how I am with most building games as well. I'm kind of interested in in destroying stuff. As you can see here, I took all the grants. Now you can get grants that basically give you a certain amount of wealth. I would recommend you take them all. They're pretty important. And this just means you can employ more, workmen. You've got more disposable capital that you can basically use. And as you can see, this is a pretty hardcore mega building operation right now. So there we go. We've got our first utility building set up. That's got a generator in it for electricity, obviously. and it's got a water pump to feed water and sewage around the system. So obviously not mixing those two up because yeah. And basically you know, the workmen have to build a building first, and then within that building you then obviously have to provide a door, obviously, and then that building becomes a building you can in essence build within. So it's a very nice feature. So we go building our perimeter wall. Again, basic stuff just to begin with. It's just to make something, again, prisoners will leg it. Even the most trustworthy prisoner is when tempted with an open gate or an open fence or whatever it may be, is guaranteed to leg it. It's going to be like Steve McQueen in, oh, I don't know what was that film, but you know what I mean. You know, if there was a motorbike in this game, he'd be jumping over fences, and pretty much that is something you have to just remove the temptation for. Same with utilities. It's easier just to plumb stuff in directly. So again, I can't believe I'm playing a game where I literally have to plan out where I'm going to plumb in my toilets. Woo, well, that's exciting, but it's fun, and I think you just need to figure out the fact that there's large and you know, thin and thick pipe as well. So the thinner pipe doesn't have much of a velocity, a nozzle velocity, whereas the large pipe does. So you know, again, it's nice, it's lovely. I really do love the fact that you have to think about this. So here we go, we're starting to build our interior walls. Now we have our electrical conduits built, we have our lighting laid out, and we have basically everything ready to go. So this is now, we've moved from construction and we're now in build and fit out. So this is where we start to put doors on, we start to do our fitting of the beds, you know, there we go. So let's put our first beds in. And let's put our toilets in. Again, I'm playing a game where I'm fitting toilets. What the hell am I doing? But I think I don't know, it's fun. As you can see, it takes a while to get all the conduiting in, so probably that might have been something to do first. But here we go. So that large building there is ready to go. I generally say that building space frame is the best thing to do, only because I think if you build a large open space, you can do a lot with it. So here you go. I'm trying to work out now offices. So the warden needs an office, so he can basically do what the warden does. He can do his wardening. And then you need basically kitchens. You need a canteen, so your hardened sexual offenders can basically sit and have suggestible looking sausages to eat, and really that's it. I mean, you have to kind of consider, you know, the fact is that you're always going to be needing more space. Certain unlockable characters also need offices as well, so your psychiatrist, your accountant, these are all kind of useful NPCs that you gain benefit from. Now I'm kind of having second thoughts here, because what I need to do more than anything is have a very functional kitchen and canteen. I've made the mistake, I've played a few games now where I've not had a good enough kitchen and a good enough canteen, so your prisoners get hungry and basically start rioting. So what I've done here is I've actually split the kitchen to the bottom left, the canteen in the middle, and then the holding cells to the right. And again, this will do, you know, nicely. So all I do now is fill them in with the nice brick wall, because this is not a prisoner's excrement smeared wall place. This will be a place where we don't need to worry too much about bars and stuff. Again, I think I would recommend, if you do play this game, don't put too many warden control gates in the way. You can right click them and open them. I learnt that only about 20 minutes after this footage here. But again, if prisoners get locked and stuck somewhere for a long time, they start to riot, and then you've got a big problem. Now what I've also done here is this is going to be my shower and delivery section, because again, I don't want people going through the main gate too much. So I thought, well, it's best just to put all of the deliveries in the back here. So this is the basics. We're pretty much there now, and I think really all that remains is the final build and construction, the final plug and plumb in, and then we're getting very close to our first prisoners arriving. So there we go. Check out part 4. I think, yeah, part 4. And we'll see how this fares. Again, when the prisoners start arriving, they will keep coming, and things start to go a bit haywire. Hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick shout out. We have squadbme.com. That's our website. Go check it out. We have twitter.com. That's if you're interested in following us on Twitter, give us a tweet every so often. Let us know what's going on. And also we have a Facebook page, like.squadb. Please go and like us there. We'll be eternally grateful. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.